Xbox gamers are scared of PlayStation gamers taking over Xbox.
50 years old and out here telling people that you're scared of another gaming platform, bro. What is wrong with you, man? Bro, grow up, man. You're getting majority of these games, and yet you people want to still act like you got a problem with it, man. Shouldn't you be happy?
That's what I figured out.
The only thing that you're scared is that Sony might not even work on their own games in favor of Xbox titles, which also means that the PlayStation 5 is an Xbox. The same console that you said had no games will be the same games that you're playing on your own platform. I mean, this is embarrassing, man. What happened to the days when PlayStation fanboys had honor in playing their own exclusive games? You guys have become the biggest port beggars in this community. How dare you guys win against these PC dudes? And what's even more funny, all your games are going to PC, which is multi-platform. So what are we fighting for exactly?
Now you're probably thinking, what's the problem? You all notice after the developer direct, Microsoft had the developer direct, and these Xbox gamers are going on overdrive. These fanboys.
So they're happy about looking forward to play some games through Game Pass Ultimate, and you probably more likely have to pay $70 for each one of those games? Puerto Rock, this seems to be a PlayStation problem. Don't get mad at Xbox gamers for getting excited about games that they want to play. I mean, it's gotten to the point that even PlayStation gamers, MBG himself said, I'm going to go get me an Xbox. Because at the end of the day, it's about playing and enjoying games, bro. You're 50 years old and you still talk about console wars as if a grown man is supposed to care.
These content creators, they're wilding out. And they're wilding out on the same narrative. That PlayStation is either PlayStation gamers have to buy these games while they get to play on Game Pass.
Well, that is true.
So now the narrative of thank you for funding my games is not all-time high. If it's not that, it's...
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, man, Microsoft is bringing out way more games than ever, man. I see no problem with them sharing some games with you. As long as we're getting games like this, and we all happy, and we all get a chance or an opportunity to play them, then I'm all for this, man. Because when you guys want to say when Sony was clearly, the market leader and controlling everything, we weren't getting banging games like this. That's all I'm saying. So whatever Microsoft feels that's best for them, and they're providing their games for everybody to play and enjoy, I'm happy for it, bro. I personally don't care about whatever you're blabbering about.
Sony's in trouble if you're happy about playing Xbox games on PlayStation.
Yeah, because the hypocrisy. Didn't you guys say that Xbox has no games? Just to find out that now all of a sudden their games, that shows you if these games were exclusive, y'all be bashing them like you did Starfield. So now we're fully aware that Xbox has always had games, and the only time you never classify them as games because they weren't on PlayStation. You ponies are looking real salty now because you can't expect Sony to bring out good quality games for you. Oh, well, Sony ain't. Nobody cares for those games. I don't think most Xbox dudes want to play that garbage anyway. I mean, Sony probably have a better chance selling it to the Nintendo community, and I don't even think they want them either.
And I'm thinking, man, console war, bait is at an all-time low, man.
Here we go. Yeah, it's at an all-time low, considering that you're still fixated on the fact of exclusivity when all your games are going to PC inevitably. I mean, at this point, all PlayStation fanboys is arguing is timed exclusivity.
PlayStation 5 beating the shit out of Xbox Series consoles into irrelevancy really caused this effect of like shit narratives. I'm like, this shit don't even make sense. You Xbox gamers, you Xbox fanboys, Xbox gamers, you all noticed this. You all did. You're just not saying it.
What?
You're keeping it to yourselves.
Huh?
You're hoping that one of us, a PlayStation dude, doesn't catch this shit. I caught it.
Yeah. And if you are one of those dudes as an Xbox gamer that wants these games to fail on PlayStation, well, you guys are beating the purpose of Microsoft's strategy. Microsoft understands. They're fully aware that no matter what they did, people weren't going to buy the Xbox platform. Microsoft has clearly stated that. So Microsoft says, you know what? We're going to go to the pony stables. We're going to offer you some of these games to play, and we're going to take a huge market share of the gaming industry, bro. There's no way in hell that you guys can't say that Microsoft ain't the market leader now. They're the biggest third-party distributor while also having their own console. and Nintendo and Sony can't even do AAAs anymore. So that means Microsoft is the only company that still has a console that can actually bring out AAA games. Now, Sony can, but Sony won't be able to do it with all the games that they're coming out with. So Microsoft has become the main distributor of third-party games. Sony now, on the other hand, they're going third-party as well, but at the same time, they just don't have that power, bro. Nobody, I hate to say it, nobody cares about PlayStation games. You guys don't. PlayStation gamers don't even care about their games. So what makes you think Nintendo, PC, or even Xbox gamers care about Rise of Ronin and Stellar Blade? Nobody cares. Let Sony do these little side deals to say that, hey, we got a better platform. Or should I say Code Violet, the game that you was damage controlling for on Twitter? You know, the lady that looked like she had feet that came out of Roadrunners? Man, come on, man. You people are capping.
And I'm going to spill the beans right now for everybody to know. 4 out of those 5 games are PlayStation games.
How are they PlayStation games? These games are owned by Microsoft. So according to your logic, right, if God of War Ragnarok and Horizon all get ported to the PC, which they have, then that means they're PC games? Explain to me what's a PlayStation game, because all these games are funded and created by Microsoft. What are you talking about, bro? These are Xbox games. These games are also available on other platforms, but they're games solely made by Microsoft. Therefore, means that that's their game. How are you going to sit there, oh, it's a PlayStation? What do you mean it's a PlayStation game? The game is played on every other device. So if that's the logic that we're using, then PC gamers could say, well, every PlayStation game that go to PC is a PC game. It's not a PlayStation game, it's a PC game. And you guys wouldn't go as far to say that, because you know why? Because Sony made them. There you go.
On your very own Xbox channel. This is the Xbox channel.
Okay.
And 4 out of the 5.
I clearly can see that.
They talking about PlayStation games. 4 out of 5. No.
I wouldn't say necessarily talk about PlayStation games. You could say that they're talking about PlayStation. They're talking about games going to PlayStation, but these are not PlayStation games. These are games made by Microsoft, unless you're saying that Doom Dark Ages is made by a Sony in-house studio, like Insomniac or Guerrilla. Is that? But clearly that's not the argument here, bro. So what? Okay, you're playing these games. What about Avowed? What about the Halo Master Chief Collection rumor that you guys were running with? That's what you guys was waiting for. And look, we have heard nothing but crickets from this. All you people want to do is play Xbox games. It's got to the point that it's so sad that of all the years that you talked about how Xbox had no games, we all knew they had games. We all knew it. The only reason why you still game on PlayStation is due to nostalgia at this point.
Only one that hasn't been announced for PlayStation South of Midnight, in my opinion, is because the studio's small, so they can't do day-and-day higher purchasing power than you Xbox fanboys, than Xbox gamers.
What are you talking about? You guys are acting as if people can't buy these games on Xbox. Microsoft's saying because you prioritized our platform, you get access to these games at a value through your subscription service. What are you talking about, bro? Nobody's saying that you can't buy these games on Xbox. It's just the fact that the value's so good on Game Pass, you don't have to. You guys are acting as if Sony didn't do the same thing, you wouldn't buy these games either. You would be playing them through your premium. You're still paying for premium. It's still paying top dollar for remasters and remakes. What are you talking about?
Period. There's not enough for y'all to keep up with the funds.
Oh yeah, there's definitely not enough for you guys to keep up with all these failures and flops.
Your version of the game cannot outsell the PlayStation version of the game. Not even close.
Well, I mean, that's pretty easy to understand considering that you guys have no other option but to buy. Guys, come on, man. Listen, I understand you want to be a fanboy. I mean, listen, and not just that, but you guys have more hardware sales. So it's pretty obvious that, of course, the game will sell better on PlayStation considering that Xbox has a lower install base on top of the fact that they don't have to buy the game. What do you guys don't understand? You guys are bragging about things that we already know already. Oh, well, you know, the PS5 version is going to sell better than the Xbox version. Well, that's easy to understand considering that they don't have to buy it. Like, come on, man. This is what we doing, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Bad enough. Xbox Series consoles is selling like trash.
No, they're selling well enough. You know, just because a console doesn't sell better than another console, because your PlayStation 5 pales in comparison to how many people have a PC. Matter of fact, PC and mobile phones. That doesn't mean the PS5 is a failure because of that. You know what I mean? Like I said, people do more mobile gaming, they do more PC gaming than what people do on consoles. That doesn't necessarily mean that the PS5 is a failure because of that.
Hardly anyone's buying them. But then within the group itself, you got people with Game Pass, they refuse to buy games.
It's not that they're refusing to buy games. Why buy games if it's offered, bro? Why pay for something we have access to? Like, that don't make sense, bro. You ponies are ridiculous with these takes. Like, oh, well, they don't buy it. Why? It's like, for example, you know what? Let me do it in these terms for these ponies in the back. That's like me having Netflix, right? Paid for movies that I already have on my Netflix account. Why would I pay for something when I could just watch the movie from something I'm already paying for? Unless I'm like a huge fan of the movie and I want to have it in my collection. But besides that, if I just want to watch the movie, I'll just watch it on Netflix. I don't have to buy the movie. It's already there. Oh, man.
Some GameSpot gamers, if it's not on Game Pass, they're not touching it unless it's like a super big game like Grand Theft Auto 6 or something like that, right?
And that same thing could also apply to PlayStation. They ain't touching none of the exclusives until they get a Xbox game and a AAA title.
Maybe Madden and 2K.
And that's the same thing on PlayStation.
You know, hardcore 2K guys, whatever. But most of the 2K and Madden guys are on PlayStation.
Because it has a higher install base. It's not hard to understand that, bro. But you can't go as far to say that Xbox is a failure because they don't have higher hardware sales. Microsoft is making enough money based off what they have. They have enough subscribers that are subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate where they're getting concurrent money from. That's not a failure. A failure is Concord, for example, a game that they put $400 million back in and never got back. Now that's a failure.
Not on Xbox, at least to that number. Definitely not Football Club. There's hardly anybody on Football Club on Xbox. That's all PlayStation. Especially the way PlayStation dominated overseas, where it's the biggest market for Football Club, not even close. So you guys don't got the purchasing power. You ain't got Benjamin Franklin on your side.
Really? Because I thought Astrobot was hoping for some Benjamin Franklins and he didn't get nothing but Abraham Lincolns.
Yes, it is. Benjamin Franklin
and George Washington's.
Side. You guys are afraid of that power PlayStation has. So what you guys are trying to do
what power is
trying
this?
to create this stupid ass narrative where buying games seems like an L for PlayStation. Or that if you buy an Xbox game, that hurts Sony. That hurts PlayStation.
It actually does, because that's why Sony canceled 10 of their live service and subscription games. That's why nobody's buying a PS5 for Sony's own titles. So for you people to say that it's not working, clearly it is. Why is Sony canceling all their games? Why are their games potentially flopping and failing? But you guys know dang well you're going to buy that Doom Dark Ages. There you go. What market share is Sony getting out of you guys buying a PS5 to play Xbox games? That's like a person saying, oh, I'm giving Nintendo Switch my money for buying third-party titles. Nintendo gets their money because you buy it for their hardware, and then you repeat to buy it for their software. And then on top of that, you subscribe to Nintendo Online so you can play Smash Bros. And Mario Kart 8 online. How hard is this for you people to understand?
Never mind that more third-party sales since the dawn of PlayStation.
And that could be mostly due to nostalgia, but go ahead.
Have been the primary sellers since the dawn.
That's not true, because I would say the 360 actually did a lot better in that regard, but go ahead.
The very beginning. Since the very beginning. You think on the PlayStation 2, the biggest sales were first party?
So you just proved our point.
It's only one game. Or one friend.
You hear that, guys? Out of all the exclusives that the PS2 had, only one game did better than most of the third party. What is that?
Besides, that was competing with third party, and that was Gran Turismo. After that, Ico, Shadow Colossus, Jack and Daxter,
which are all good games.
Ratchet and Clank. You think those games was keeping up with Final Fantasy? Grand Theft Auto?
But then you're proving our point. You're proving our point that nobody cares about the PS5 for its games. How are you going to sit there and say, oh, Sony's the greatest company in the world, and you're talking about third-party titles, bro? Like, this is the argument. This is something that you're not understanding. When you guys say PlayStation is the best, I want to hear PlayStation games. When people say Nintendo's the best, I want to hear Nintendo games. When people say the Xbox is the best, I want to hear Xbox games. Same thing with Sega. Let's talk about Sega. Oh, how good the Sega Dreamcast was. And then we sit there and talk about third party. This is what y'all doing, man. It's pathetic, bro. This is like some of the most petty stuff I've ever seen. Oh, we talk highly about PlayStation, but we don't play our own first party.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid? Hell no, they weren't keeping up with those games.
So you just proved that the PlayStation was nothing but a third-party machine.
None of them were. None of them.
That's facts.
PS4 is the first generation ever.
GameStop with another W.
Game history where you had like 3 or 4 PlayStation first-party titles that sold over 10 million.
I told people
Before that,
failure.
very little.
Failure.
Onesies and twosies. Gran Turismo, and even then, like on the PlayStation 3, Gran Turismo didn't even sell up. But if they feel, man, Nintendo gamers and PlayStation gamers might not be feeling this. This, you know, it's on Game Pass, okay, so Game Pass players will be able to try it, but we're not sure about this. All right, don't make it. Do another title. Yeah, that title might pop on PlayStation and Nintendo. Definitely. Make that. They'll make it, and then they'll say, hey, new game on Game Pass, and you guys will jump at the joy of it.
And what's wrong with people enjoying video games at a value?
They'll jump at any game. Microsoft will say, hey, this is the new game for Game Pass, and you guys will not challenge it. Why? Because it's on Game Pass. Day and date.
Which has everything to do with games.
No challenge. You won't wonder. You won't say to yourselves, man, this is the type of game you would play on PlayStation. This feels...
No, because PlayStation don't make games. They make movies. The games that you get on Xbox is actual games. The games that Microsoft are making are actual games that have gameplay. No PlayStation fan would be saying, maybe a fanboy such as yourself, but unless Gears of War has 25 hours of cinematics, then maybe.
Like, you know, a Sony first-party template type game. Like,
every single Sony first-party title is a copy of another game. What are you talking about? Even the Uncharted developers said that their game was solely created due to the influence of Indiana Jones and Gears of War. That's why the cover-based system is similar. What is you talking about, bruh? You hear this dude? Oh, that's a Sony... What Sony template are you referring to? Because as far as I'm concerned, every single Sony template ain't been nothing but a copy of another game. Astro bought a fake wannabe Mario Odyssey. Sony is the kings of copying everybody else. You should know this already. Come on, man. I mean, even Legend of Dragoon was nothing but a copy of Final Fantasy. Come on, bruh.
What's going on here on Xbox? You won't do that. You will not challenge Xbox if they start copying the PlayStation template. Why? Because you get it on Game Pass. As long as it's on Game Pass, you're going to love it. You guys are scared. No. That PlayStation can influence Xbox.
You sure that you're not afraid of the Xbox influence on PlayStation?
Don't have the purchasing power to stop it. So now, you guys are just creating a narrative, trying to convince gamers that buying games is an L. Apparently.
It's not that it's an L. It's the fact that you guys are losing the power narrative of your own games. There's a lot of fans that enjoy PlayStation for their very own titles. And like I said before, if Microsoft keeps doing this, Sony's not going to bring out these games that they once were. And all Sony's going to be is nothing but a hollow shell for Microsoft or whoever decide to port games on it. It's essentially another Xbox. It's kind of sad, bro. They literally put the whole M on the PS5 and said, yep, this is a console that Sony made, but the games, everywhere you go is an Xbox. That would never happen with Nintendo. If Microsoft put games on Nintendo games would still outsell the Xbox games. Still. You better hope Nintendo don't put games on your platform, because if that's what Sony was done. But Nintendo don't have to, because as of right now, they're doing fine off their own hardware and software.
Been done since day one is now an L. And apparently
people haven't bought games. I mean, I've already went down the history of how people never bought games, but go ahead.
To create this narrative.
You just said that nobody started buying PlayStation games until the PS4. That's a hypocritical take, because that's what you just said. People didn't start buying PlayStation exclusives until the PS4. And look what happened. After the PS4, they stopped.
If you buy an Xbox game, somehow that means you're not buying PlayStation games.
So when I buy a PlayStation game on PC, that means it's a PC game now. What?
So if I buy, let's say Gears of War comes out, E-Day, and I buy Gears of War, I guess that means I'm not buying Naughty Dog's Intergalactic. Somehow, that's the translation.
Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, maybe for you, but a lot of people are not gonna, people ain't buying your games now, bruh. Let's just be honest. And with all these games coming out and with the plethora of games that Microsoft has, people are not going to want to waste $70 picking up no trash Intergalactic. They're going to be playing Gears of War. They're going to be playing the real games. And that's when Sony's going to lose the power control out of their own fans. For the fans that picked up a PS5 for Sony's games, not for Xbox games. Why would I pick up a platform like a PS5 to play games that I could already play on my Xbox? Microsoft is doing what they can to make sure that PS5 and Xbox are the same thing. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, we got the wires of roll. Okay, Sony got these little pathetic side deals, but that's still not enough to weigh with what Microsoft's going on. Nobody cares. Oh, these games, I don't care, bro. We playing games, man, and Microsoft's providing them day and day. They provide them first, and they're also providing them with value. That's what gaming is all about, bro. As you can see, everybody's playing Ninja Gaiden. We're all having fun. We're all uploading gameplay shorts, and you out here complaining because you probably got to buy the game for $50. Well,
somehow. Someone explain that. Because that's the logic they're using. If you buy, for you racing guys, if you buy, let's say Forza Horizon 6 on your PlayStation, that somehow means you're no longer interested in Gran Turismo.
I don't think people would play Gran Turismo after playing Forza Horizon 6. That will single-handedly destroy Gran Turismo, which would also impact the fans of the ones that enjoy the game. That's the reason why Project Gotham Racing don't exist, because of Forza Horizon. Microsoft says we can't have two competing racing games. It took the other one out, and I love Project Gotham Racing. That same thing might also happen with Sony. Sony's already afraid to put AAA money in their own games. So if they're already, Microsoft is not afraid. That's what y'all don't understand. They're not afraid to drop their games on your platform and make that money. Sony is. So having a competing game like that is only going to mess with Sony. Oh man, I don't know if we want to put $600 million in that new Gran Turismo if Forza's there. Sony's scared to put games out. That's what y'all don't get.
That's the logic.
That's why Sony canceled 10 live service games, because they scared of the gaming landscape. Because, at this point, why didn't y'all just come out with the games? Drop them. If they fail, they fail. But no, Sony wants to still be in the graces of the fanboy, and we all know dang well that those days is over.
They're trying to create this narrative, but guess what? You're not gaslighting us. They're not falling for that bullshit, right? You guys want Xbox games to sell like shit on PlayStation.
No, I've actually said in my videos I want these games to do well, because the more and more that these games do well on your platform, the less and less we're going to see of the PlayStation exclusivity garbage, because your games are trash anyway. Nobody cares about, not even your own audience, bro. It's official.
That's why you're doing all that.
It's official.
If you can somehow convince random people on the internet that buying Xbox games is bad, it's an L, it makes you look stupid, right? That means...
It kind of does, because you guys say that Xbox has no games, but then you buy them on PlayStation. What point are you making? It does make you look stupid. It does. How are you going to sit there and say it doesn't make you look stupid when these games was locked to Xbox, they were trash. They were no good games. Now they're on PlayStation. Oh, now all of a sudden they're good games? That does make you sound like a hypocrite.
Microsoft would be like, oh shit, were we wrong? These games ain't really selling on PlayStation. Man, if PlayStation gamers don't like our games, I guess there's no point.
PlayStation gamers don't even like their own games.
In putting these games on PlayStation. That is what you guys want. You want that. You want all these Xbox games to fail, so to see if Microsoft will reconsider.
Just admit it. You want to play Xbox games, bro. Just say it. Just say that Sony ain't doing enough for you, and you would rather play Xbox games because they're funner.
This strategy.
Just say that.
Not gonna work, brother. Not gonna work. In fact, I'm gonna make sure the opposite happens.
Hold on.
I'll use the 6 and give it away to the people. Not gonna work. In fact, I'm gonna make sure the opposite happens. I don't even play racing games. I'm gonna buy Forza Horizon 6 and
you're doing everything Microsoft wants you to do. You big dummy. I told you, man. Everybody got games, man. They can't even deny it no more, man. They should be happy right now, but instead they still angry because Sony ain't doing nothing for them. This is pathetic, man. All these people that say, oh, we don't need Forza, we got Gran Turismo, are the same fools talking about how they gonna pick up Forza. Man, I'm done, bro. You ponies have proved for the past 30 years of gaming that y'all ain't been nothing but a complete joke. You even said it yourself, PlayStation gamers don't pick up their own games.
Go look at your developer direct. 4 out of the 5 games, PlayStation.
And what about Avowed? What about all the other games? There's still a few games that are coming out on Xbox that ain't dropping on PS5, man. But hey, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, man, this man is delusional, bro. He should be happy. He should be happy that he can get these games. But it seems like he's more upset at the fact that he got to spend $70 giving his money to Microsoft instead, even though he said he loved PlayStation. You love PlayStation so much that you don't even support your own games. But instead, you support your competitors. What a big dummy.